Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope wherever you are in the world, today has been treating you so well. In today's video, I am doing another full face of Troublemaker makeup, the new brand that has just launched in Superdrug. I have already done a full face of this brand, already done one whole video dedicated to one lot of products. Now I'm coming back with my second video and I think that there's going to be a third. So if you are interested in Troublemaker beauty, Troublemaker makeup, whatever the brand is called, Troublemaker, be sure to subscribe because I think that there's going to be a third video using this brand because there are so many products. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I am very interested in a lot of them. Like I say, I've already done a whole video testing a load of the products from the brand. I was testing the foundation stick, a liquid liner, there was like a putty blush thing, the colourful eyeshadow palette. So good. Mascara, liquid liner, lip products, the whole thing. I will leave that video linked. But today I have a second lot of products, and like I say, I think there's going to be a third. So today we are testing the concealer that wasn't even on the website when I did that first order. The concealer, we have the Cushion foundation, the Made by Mitchell dupe face palette thing. I have 3 different sticks and honestly I can't even remember what these are. Highlighter, blush and primer. Probably won't use all of them, but we'll see what we get to. We've got another eyeshadow palette, we've got loads more blush, another 2 blushes, got a different bronzer, a brow pencil. We've got the whole thing, so let's just dive straight on in. I have got a primer, so this is the Blurry Smoothing Primer Base, and I really love this packaging. It feels very substantial, like the plastic is very, like, not heavy, but like just substantial feeling. It doesn't feel flimsy is what I'm trying to say. I can't get into this packaging. I should have done all of this before I started filming, but I love how bright and colourful all of these products are. They are very lovely. So ooh, I didn't think that it would be tinted. Doesn't have a scent. That is preferable. So, does that look blurred to you now? Let's swipe this all over. The tint isn't necessarily like, I'm not noticing the tint on my skin. Let's swipe that all over and then I will pat this in. Oh, it does feel like dry and a bit silicone-y. I suppose that's what you would expect from a blurring primer. Okay, not the sort of thing that I usually go for, but I do feel like that has taken down some of the shine from like my skincare and stuff. So then we have got the Cushion foundation. I've never used a Cushion foundation before, so I have no idea what to expect from this. This is the Button Pusher Hydrating Medium Coverage Cushion foundation, and I got this in the shade Moonwalker, which was the same shade as the foundation stick that I tested in the first video. So you open it up, it's got a little puff thing inside. I may use that, and then ooh, it says press me. Okay, let's take that off. It says Trouble imprinted, and it's upside down, but you can see that. Trouble imprinted in the little sponge. Okay, right, I will use this. I've never used a Cushion foundation before. I have brushes and I have my sponge in case I need it, but let's just press. Ooh, press into there. Ooh. Okay, that's picked up quite a bit. Right, let's just use one press. That colour is so perfect for me. Now all of the colours still aren't on the website at the time of filming. All of the colours still haven't made their way onto the website yet. There will be more, I was promised. So let's tap this in with the little, I was about to say sponge, but what even is this? I don't know. It feels a lot like the puff thing that came with the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder. Very thin, flimsy, sort of not sharp on the edges, but like you can feel the edges, like the edges are leaving a little mark. I will probably go over this with my sponge, a damp makeup sponge, because this is leaving little lines where the edge of the thing is. I will just go in with a little bit more across the forehead, but that is, I would say that that is more than medium coverage. That is giving me quite a lot of coverage. Okay. Okay, so just tapping over the whole face with my damp sponge there, because I felt like I wasn't quite managing to get rid of the edges of the, what would you even call this? The little like sponge that it came with. You could see the edges of it, and it didn't really matter how much I was blending. So I like this for sort of getting the product out of the cushion and onto your face, because I don't really like the texture of products being on my hands. So I like that that's there, but I did have to blend that out still with a damp sponge, just a regular sponge, which is fine. I would always use a sponge anyway, generally, a sponge or a brush to blend out. I like the finish of that. It is looking more matte. It is looking more sort of flat than what I'm used to, but also I feel like the primer was quite mattifying. So I will, of course, try all of these products more and give you my recap at the end of the month. But first impressions, I think that this primer made this more matte, and I'm interested to see how these will work separately with other products. So I also got a concealer. This is the, oh, I haven't taken any of the packaging off this. This is the Ditto concealer. This is the one that they keep posting about the packaging, and people are saying, like, guessing that it's a fragrance. It's not. It's the concealer with like the triangular shaped lid. That is the packaging. Like, it is substantial packaging. This is 4 milliliters of product, which actually is like, you would think that like the Sleek in Your Tone, which is one of my favorite concealers of all time, like that would be less product, but the Sleek has nearly twice as much. That has 7 milliliters where this only has 4. Just to bear in mind, the cost of these products is much less, but you are getting less product. Let's see how this concealer is though. Let's see. I got this in the shade Firecracker. Again, they didn't have all of the shades available still. Oh, that is an interesting wand. That is wide and short, almost spherical. I have no problem with that. It doesn't have any sort of fragrance. I do feel the need to check that. If you didn't see the first impression, the mascara is, I wouldn't say the mascara is fragrance, the mascara has a smell. So let's see how this concealer goes on the old dark circles, and I will use the sponge that I was just using on the rest of my face to blend this in. Well, that was quick. That is not a lot of coverage. I can still absolutely see the blue right on my inner corner. That looks so so smooth though. If this can build up to be a little bit more coverage, just right in there, then I think I could really like that. That's not too glowy, but it feels very thin. Okay. Okay, I'm not noticing that build up a great deal, but I'm also not noticing that going funky with that second layer. Because if you saw my first impression, the foundation stick wasn't necessarily building too much. I like it. It's less coverage than what I'm used to, but I like the finish of that. It still looks nice and brightening, but it is, I would say, like a light to medium coverage, natural finish. I'm not mad at it. I just feel at the ripe old age of 31 that I need either more sleep or more coverage, and quite frankly I'm not getting more sleep. The only thing that I can control here is the amount of coverage, you know? So I'm not mad at it, it's just not my preferred amount of coverage. So let's move on to this curve case. Like, I'm just going to say it like it is. It's the Made by Mitchell curve case. So this is the Troublemaker Cream Complexion Makeup Palette. This is in light, and let's get some scissors, open this up, and that is what the inside looks like. This looks like, even the colour selection looks, to me, in my opinion, exactly the same as the Made by Mitchell curve case, which is fine because that's a cult classic. So many people love it. I'm not the biggest fan, only because, I don't know, it's just not the sort of thing that I reach for regularly, but I wanted to try this one. So let's get, you'll be proud of me because I've cleaned my brushes. I know. And when I say clean, I scrubbed them down with a little bit of Isoclean. I didn't do the full clean. I did not. But I've got two of the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. And let's start with bronzer. Let's go in with the lightest bronzer. Dip into there. Very creamy. Can you see that? Very, very creamy. So very, very pigmented as well. Okay, that's a lot more cool toned than what I was expecting that to be. Okay, let me just tap a little bit on like that, and then I will wipe off the brush because there's still loads of product on there, like not the colour that you want to be showing the internet on, a bit of tissue roll, but there we go. And I will tap this out. Yeah, that's a lot more cool toned, okay, than what I was expecting it to be. I may have to go in with one of the other colours to warm this up a bit. Make me look less like the undead, you know? Okay, that blended out really, really easily. I just was not expecting that colour. I mean, now I'm looking at it and, like, of course that's like the most cool toned one there. I was just going for the lightest shade. So I will just dip into the lightest, like, one dip into that one, and I will try and just layer a little bit of that over the top just to warm that shade up a bit. Again, wipe that brush off a little bit. I just want to warm that up a touch because I'm not really into contour. That is not my journey. But I like that the option is there if you wanted that. And especially for a light palette. Obviously there were different, there was like light, medium, deep. There were a few different ones. So I like that they have the variety in the shades. So that is that warmed up a little bit. Now switching brushes, and let's go in with this middle one. I don't think these have names. No, they don't have names, so I'm just going to take that same brush, and I've probably got way too much there. Let's see. This is like, even the tones are the same. I got too much. Even the tones are the same as the Made by Mitchell, but potentially this is more pigmented. I feel like they're softer, more creamy, whereas I feel like the Made by Mitchell ones are a little bit firmer. When you dip in, you don't pick up quite as much, so it just depends, you know. But I really like that colour, and I feel like where that is creamy as well, that is adding a nice little glow. I really, really like that colour. Okay, I am a big fan of that. And they did also have one that was like the multicoloured, very bright colours, blue, all of the colours in one. I think there were slightly smaller pans than this one. I really like that. So I also got a highlight. This is the Ziggy highlighter. This is in Earthling Pink, and again, I'm not going to be able to get into this packaging. Okay, so I knew that this was pink, but I didn't know that it was going to be like marbled. That's very pretty. Let me approach with caution. Let me swatch this on the back of my hand. That is pretty. That is very pink, however, so I'm going to pick that up on my brush, the same brush, just the same one that I used for the blush just then, and let's tap this over the top here, rather than swiping this onto the skin, because I feel like I would probably get too much. Ooh. That is pretty. That is very, very pretty. I love a pink blush lighter effect. Oh, I love it. And that one is so smooth. There is no chunky glitteriness. That is just perfection. Oh, I really, really like that. That's blending in with that other blush really nicely. I'm just going to tap over a little bit with the sponge. I really like that. I really, really like that. Okay, so I already tested this technically, but I got a different shade. So when I first got this, I got this in dark brown. It was quite cool toned. I prefer something a little bit warmer. So now they have brought this out. This is the Feral Brow Blade. They have brought this out in, what do they call it? Medium brown? Yes, medium brown. So I already know I really, really like this pencil. It's one that's like a flat blade. I really enjoy pencils like this. So let's see what this colour is like and if I prefer it over the one that I already have, which, like I say, is dark brown, and it's just a little bit cool tone for me. So let's try this one and see. Okay, so I'm just brushing that product through a little bit with the spoolie on the other end. I much prefer this colour. If you want something that is a true medium brown and has a little bit of warmth, I would recommend this shade, which, like I say, was medium brown. The only thing, it doesn't say anywhere on here the name of it, which is the Feral Brow Blade, and it also doesn't say the shade. So when this inevitably makes it back into my drawer, I'm not going to be able to know just by looking at the packaging which is the medium and which is the dark. First world problems, I know, but I do wish that they had put the name on here somewhere. Even if it was just on the lid, I wish that there was that, but I much prefer this colour. Now, at the time of me ordering all of these products, there wasn't an eyeshadow primer or a brow gel. They now have those, now that it's a few days later and a few more products have like made it onto the website. That's why I say I think I'm probably going to do a part 3, because I think I'm going to get those. But as of now, they don't have a brow gel or an eyeshadow primer, so I'm just going to move on to the eyeshadow palette that I got. And like I say, I already tested the Genius smaller eyeshadow palette, the very colourful one. I love it. It's very pigmented, very easy to use if you have a tacky primer on, less pigmented if you are just using it straight onto your concealer or onto bare skin. It's less pigmented, still very easy to blend, but I decided to go for one that had shimmer in it because that one that I already tested didn't have a shimmer in it. So this is the Love Note little 6-pan palette, and if I get into this one, it is all of the nudes. Probably the sort of thing that you could use as like a bridal palette if it's any good. I haven't tested it yet. So I am going to go ahead and swatch all of these and see what I think of them just on bare skin. I will apply an eyeshadow primer and I will be right back. Okay, so I have my eyeshadow primer all tapped out there. It is the e.l.f. Lock It Down, and this is what the shades look like. This is what the palette looks like swatched. I really like that it's almost in like trios. So we've got warmer browns and then these ones are more pink. I really like the colour selection, and I also like that there's 4 mattes and 2 shimmers to correspond with each of the like colour stories. I really like it. So this is Text Me Back, LYSM, Secret Admirer. So they're the like slightly warmer browns, and then Cupid's Pen Pal, XOXO, and Always. And I also really like that Secret Admirer is a very smooth sort of foil. There's no glitter in it. It's incredibly smooth. And then Always, this one here, has glitter in it. It has that pinky nudie base, but then it has gold and silver reflets in it, which, if you know me and if you know the makeup that I wore on my wedding day, it was the e.l.f. Liquid Glitter in Flirty Birdie, which is a pinky nude base with silver and gold glitters. So this is like a powder version of the liquid eyeshadow that I wore on my wedding day. So when I say bridal, I mean bridal. I mean the colour story is exactly what I would choose. So let's just start. I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush and let's go in with LYSM, Love You So Much. Going to go in with that one ever so lightly because I've got that sticky primer on. And these are going to grab and be very pigmented. So let's tap this in, and that is a beautiful warm but not too orange nudie brown. I'm really impressed with these shades. I think that they're very well thought out. So I'm now gonna go into XOXO, which is this matte shade here, that darker one, and I'm gonna tap that lightly onto the outer corner to deepen this up a little bit. Let's just completely lean into the bridal look, you know, because if I was getting married out, yeah, I would be wearing a khaki green t-shirt and a mustard summer dress. It's obviously the vibe that I'm going for. So I have also put both of those shades on the lower lash line. Now let's just dive straight on into that shimmer, that Always shimmer that I'm so interested in. I mean, don't mind the other fingers there that are like a little bit stained, but it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So I'm just going to tap that across the lid. So good. My nails are so long. I desperately need to get them done. When I will find the time, I do not know, but they're hanging on by a thread, these blue nails. Blimey. And I can't get anywhere near the inner corner, so I'm going to have to get a brush for that, but that is grabbing onto that eyeshadow primer so nicely. Let me just blend out the outer corner a little bit, and then I'll get a smaller brush and try and get some of that shimmer on the inner corner. That shimmer is actually applying beautifully with a brush. That is very pretty. Right, I'm just going to add a little bit more of that XO shade right onto the outer corner, and I think I'm done. I'm very impressed with the quality of these eyeshadows, honestly. They're very easy to use. They're very pigmented, but also they're blending away. Not blending away, they're blending together really nicely. I'm incredibly impressed. So I did see on the Superdrug website that they have a brown version of the liquid liner. However, I didn't pick it up and now I regret not picking it up. So again, that might be something that I pick up in my next order. Because at this point, you know that I'm doing another order. So this is the Troublemaker Outsider liquid liner. I tested this in my first video. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. It has become one of my favourite liquid liners. It's so black, it's so liquidy, it does not budge. It does not budge at all. And I also didn't get any new mascara, so I'm just going to go off and use the same one that I already have tried. This is the Curl Theory Curling Mascara. It does smell like emulsion. It smells like paint, which isn't the greatest, but I like that they haven't added a fragrance in there. I don't find it irritating on my eyes, but with all that being said, I'm gonna go off, do a wing, do my mascara, and I will be right back with a new lip liner. And then we're done. So that is how the eyes are looking now. Just a little wing, nothing too dramatic, and mascara. So that is the eyes all done. I'm very impressed with the eyeshadows that I have tried from Troublemaker so far. I think that they are incredible. So let me zoom you out and we can do the lip. It's just a lip liner, but we'll do the lip. So the lip liner in question, I already tried one of these, but the shade was very light. It was too light really for like an everyday for me. So I decided to go for a slightly deeper shade. This is the Overdo It lip liner. This is in Locked Baby. And even that looks very light. On the, like, that doesn't look anything like the cap. I'm finding it very hard to find a lip liner. Let me, I mean, it looks okay there actually. Still, it's more cool tone than what I would usually go for. Right, let me just try it. Okay. I actually think that that colour is all right. I will say that these aren't very, they're creamy when you're drawing them on, but you can't then like smoosh your lips together to make that colour move, which I usually like to do if I'm using a lip liner all over my lip. They're not necessarily, I don't really know how to describe them because it doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel overly matte, but it's almost something in there that isn't movable. and I don't really know how to describe that. I like it. I do think that they're quite long lasting, like the other one that I have been wearing it, and it does last well. But it's just a bit of a strange feeling, like pushing your lips together and then the product not moving at all. Where a lot of the lip liners that I use, it does do that. So it just takes a little bit of getting used to. But that is everything that I tested today. And already in front of me, I have products that I haven't gotten around to testing in this full face. There's just so much from that brand. I'm going to have to do a part 2. I'm going to have to get that other foundation. I'm going to have to get the eyeshadow primer, the brow gel. Because even in front of me, the other products that I've got to try, I've got a cream blush, I've got a powder bronzer, I've got a baked blush, which I'm very, very interested in because it's like marbled and very, very pretty. I've got a pink powder highlight. There's other eyeshadow palettes and things. I'm very, very impressed with the brand, but everything that I've tested today, like I say, I'm interested to try the primer stick separately to the cushion foundation, because I think that both of those have like, they've worked well here, but I do think that they will also work very well separately. I'm interested to see how the cushion foundation is going to look over the top of something a little bit more hydrating, because it does say that this is a hydrating foundation, but I'm a dry skin gal. I like to look very, very glowy, so I'm interested to try that foundation again and see how that looks, not over a very mattifying primer, but I do think that those two have worked incredibly, incredibly well together. I'm very, very impressed. I like the concealer. It's just not a lot of coverage. I wouldn't necessarily say that this would cover spots or any like acne scarring or anything like that. And the reason that I'm pointing that out is this whole brand is of course targeted towards, like, I don't even know what, would it be Gen Alpha? I don't know what gen it would be, but teenagers. That's what it's targeted towards. So I don't know how well this would cover over like spots and things like that, but nice, very thin feeling, hasn't creased from what I can see. I do like it. The glow stick was very pink. If you don't like a pink toned highlight, you won't like this. I love a pink toned blush topper, blush lighter. I really, really like that one. As far as face palettes go, this is probably one of my favourite ones that I've tried. It's very pigmented. I probably would have benefited honestly from swatching these shades to see how they were actually going to look on my skin. I didn't do that, I just went straight in, so that is on me, but I'm very impressed with the level of pigmentation in the palette and also the colour selection. Like, you've got a pink blush and an orange blush and a peachy blush. What more could I need? The answer to that is nothing. Very, very impressed with that one. The eyeshadow palette, I think that is beautiful and bridal. Obviously it's called Love Note, so it does give bridal. It does give that, and that, oh, I prefer this shade of brow pencil for me personally as a person. I think that that looks better than the one that I tried before, and I think that was everything that I tried new today. If you have tried anything from Troublemaker that you love or hate, I want to hear about it. I want to know what you're loving. I want to know what you've tried. I want to know all of the details. I want to know what's going on with my hair. Who knows? But that is everything. Everything will be linked down below. They are affiliate links if you decide to use them. Thank you so much. You don't have to. You can go ahead onto the Superdrug website and find all these products yourself. You don't have to use my links, but if you do, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for supporting my little corner of the internet. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. That really does help me out so much. And subscribe if you want to see more Troublemaker reviews from me, because obviously, goes without saying, I am obsessed. I want to try it all. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.